I'm Jenny Hack with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. How are you guys today?
I'm doing good. I know wardrobe normally tries to do a great job of making sure we don't have the same colors on, but today they had blue, cowboy blue.
Changed?
I changed.
Oh.
I was not wearing blue today. No.
Well, we can't have this. You're going to completely disrupt wardrobe.
They're going to be okay.
Well, all I know is that Jerry Jones finally came out of hiding, which means life is almost back to normal. Maybe not.
Almost.
Maybe not.
There you go.
Interesting, Shannon. You couldn't wear the colors.
Ooh.
I know a little bit what direction you may be going. Yes, Skip, we have been waiting months for Jerry Jones to speak up, and he finally did. Yesterday, Jerry would not commit to a policy when asked if he would allow Cowboys players to kneel during the national anthem this season. 2017, Jerry said his players would stand with toes on the line during the anthem. And yesterday, when referencing the 2017 season, Jerry said, quote, "That was then, this is now. We're going to have grace." Shannon, do you believe Jerry will allow his players to kneel?
I think the thing is what we know about Jerry, Skip, is that the climate is a lot different now, as he mentioned, in 2020 than it was in 2017. I think Jerry is trying to straddle the line, Skip, tiptoe issues. We know where Jerry stands because he made it abundantly clear about the flag in the country while not addressing what led to this turmoil and unrest in America. He mentioned the word grace 5 or 6 times.
I got a dozen.
You got a dozen?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the new buzzword.
But I didn't hear one time he mentioned the word empathy.
No.
Empathy, Skip, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Jerry has no empathy for the black man because you know why, Skip? He can't see himself or someone he loves, Jerry Jr., Stephen, or the grandkids in a similar situation as a black or a minority in this country. So he can't empathize with that. Dak says something, Skip. Dak says he's trying to listen and gather everything he can before he came out, and it was simple view because his background and beliefs are all that's different than a lot of people. In other words, Skip, because he's a white multi-billionaire, he can't empathize. Skip, you don't have to have a belief. Beliefs are not about empathy. It's different than beliefs. I can have beliefs about believing this and believing that, but can I have empathy? Can I see myself for 1 second in the shoes of another man or woman? And that's what Jerry lacks, is empathy. Skip, the climate is different. But actually, in actuality, the issues are exactly the same. Everyone tried to make it about the flag, about the country, about the military. Skip, George Floyd was not the first one. Actually, Eric Garner in 2014, he was the first one that says, "I can't breathe." And then we come down to Alton Sterling and Walter Scott, and there have been so many more, the Sandra Blands. It was just so happens on May, I think it was May 29th on that Minnesota, that 7:30, 8 o'clock that night, late evening, that this happened. Nothing changed, Jerry. Skip, he talking about, well, I reached out to why would you reach out to President Trump when you know where he stands on this issue? Remember, Skip, surrounding yourself with people that tell you what you want to hear, that have common beliefs as you, that doesn't advance anything. I'm so Jerry could have kept, Skip, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you the really crux of this, what my argument is. Jerry took 109 days because Jerry Jones was about to do something that COVID could not do. Jerry Jones
109 days before he spoke. Between public speaking.
Yes. Jerry Jones was about to do something that COVID-19 can't do. Jerry Jones was going to derail the NFL season because if Jerry had opened his mouth in the beginning, Jerry was going to say something that these black players was going to have no choice.
Highly possible.
They were going to stand down.
But we both agreed on that.
Yes.
That there was a big reason why he wasn't. He was probably gag ordered almost by people above him.
And I listen. I have rabbit ears. No, you don't, Jerry. Jerry, you hear what you want to hear because your players tried to tell you in 2017 and you came out with this hardline stance. Skip, I'm sure there are a lot of owners that were kind of like Jerry, but they didn't come out hardline. Toes on the line, helmet in the left arm, hand over heart. They didn't say that. I'm sure there were a lot of them that felt that they really wanted the players to stand for the anthem because of what an anthem meant to them. But not Jerry. Jerry took a stance and said, you will do this. That's why he didn't answer. Skip, he had 109 days. Okay, Jerry, where are you? After 109 days, Jerry can't say, I'm going to allow them or I'm not. You know why, Skip? Because Jerry is unmoved. Skip, Jerry's 77 years of age. What's the likelihood of a man that's 77 that's worth $8 billion changing anything about the way he thinks, the way he feels, or the way he acts? He got that way. He got to where he is, being stubborn, being tenacious, being bullheaded. He's not changing now.
Yep.
This is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. He had 109 days, and this is what Jerry give us. He talking about grace. We're going to handle this with grace. Skip, what is Skip, what exactly is that? Skip, because I was looking up the...
there are lots of definitions.
Exactly. Simple elegance or refinement of movement. Nah, not that.
No.
Courteous goodwill.
Maybe.
To do honor credit by one's present.
Now, you can go biblical if you want to. It's love and mercy, okay? That's another one. You can go to compassion. Grace is compassion.
Skip, how about saying
Somebody
that?
should have asked him, define grace, Jerry.
Thank you, Skip.
We are going to handle this with grace. And he kept saying it over and over and over again. And it's classic Jerry speak. What do you mean?
Leave us to decipher what he's trying to say as opposed to just saying it. Because normally, Skip, when Jerry want to say something, Jerry just comes out and say it. When he had a problem with Commissioner Goodell and the Zeke Elliott handling, he came out and said it. It wasn't no beating around the bush. He didn't lead us to believe, well, what is Jerry trying to do? We've heard. Skip, this is embarrassing, Skip. For Jerry to do this after 109 days, no stance whatsoever, not even addressing the issue. Okay, Jerry, how did we get here? What caused this situation? Oh, I got rabbit ears. We're going to handle this with grace. You know, I listened to President Trump and former President. Skip, what up? Let's see. I guarantee you he didn't talk to President Obama. He talked to President Trump and one of the Bushes. And the senior Bush has passed. Okay. So he talked to the junior. Man, stop this. This is embarrassing, Skip. I'm so embarrassed. I feel bad for the Cowboy players because Jerry's going, oh, we're going to handle this with grace. We're going to do what's best. No. You trying to do what's best for you and what's best for the players are entirely different. And Skip, before I turn it over to you, the thing that I hate the most, and I hated this from all the owners that said it, we got to take into account our fans. Like black men and women and children don't go to games. Like minorities don't go to games. Like they don't buy concession. Like they don't buy gear. Oh, our fan base. Skip, what the hell are black people in America? Do they not attend games? Do they not watch TV? Do they not go to the ratings? Our fan base. In other words, I got to do what's right for white in America. So I don't want to tick them off. And I don't want to tick off that guy because he'll tweet. That's what this is about, Skip Bayless. He don't want to upset for... What he's doing, he did this for an audience of one. And we know who the audience of one is, Skip. This is embarrassing. Jerry could have kept this to himself. I wish he'd had gone another 109 days before saying anything publicly about this situation. This was a joke.
Okay. I hear everything you just said. But I heard it and saw it a little different than you heard it and saw it. I was actually given the hardline stance 4 years ago of Jerry Jones. I was actually pleasantly surprised by some of the things that he ventured out to say. I thought that he went yesterday from hardline to softline on this stance. Now, again, 4 years ago we will, as Dallas Cowboys, we will stand as attention with our toes on the line. But as he said yesterday, that was then, this is now. And again, it was cryptic and inscrutable with this new buzzword, grace. We will do this with grace. But I want to read one line that Jerry did. This came out of his mouth yesterday, and I'm going to give him an ounce of credit for this one because this was new Jerry. This was enlightened Jerry. As he said in his opening remarks, I have nothing to prove as far as where I stand on the flag. We know where he stands on the flag.
Exactly.
He said, I also have nothing to prove on how much I've supported my players in the past. Okay, we get that. But he goes on to say that we are going to deal with this new word called grace. I still don't know what that means. But then he goes on to say, I want our fans to understand where our players are coming from. The ones who want to basically do that, which is to kneel, do not feel like they're dishonoring the flag. Jerry said that. Do not feel like, so maybe he's had some enlightenment of, oh, there was a why to this. They weren't just disrespecting the flag. They were trying to make a statement. That's a new vision from Jerry Jones. That's new acceptance and enlightenment of what just happened.
What if I give him 50% credit? Well, Jerry, how do you feel that the players are kneeling? How do you feel Don't talk. You see, what he did, all he did was push the ball to the fans. How do you feel, Jerry?
Okay. Well, it sounds to me like he at least cracked the door open on kneeling for his players. It sounds like he's not going to fire them if they kneel,
Right.
which in 2016, he basically said they're
not playing that day.
That's correct. So again, I don't want to overstate it. I just heard a little different Jerry Jones. When he says something like that, I'm like, what?
Skip,
You went that far?
Skip, he had 109 days.
Okay, I got it. So let's be clear about this. Did he mount his platform yesterday and take his soapbox and throw his considerable weight behind Black Lives Matter? No. Did he say, I want to express to you how the murder of George Floyd impacted me as a human being? No. Okay, I got it. No, you're not going to get that from this man. Did he say that he went out of his way to check with President Trump as he checked with a lot of other people on both sides of the issue? Yes, he did. But in the end, I do not think President Trump will love what Jerry said yesterday, because it was a little 50-50, like I can see both sides of this issue, which was some thawing, some mellowing on the issue by 77-year-old Jerry Jones. Let's understand where our players were coming from in 2016 and where they are coming from today. That was then, this is now. Okay, well, I'm going to give him an ounce of credit, because I think he said, like, grudgingly, if they want to kneel, let's all just kind of accept it and go on.
Well, I think the thing is now, Skip, is because back then, because guess what? It's convenient. Remember I said the quote yesterday, comfort and convenience.
Yeah.
It's comfort. It's convenient now. Back then was when you had to make a tough choice. So now, Skip, there's going to be a small population. There's going to be a small segment that's